Welcome to my channel. What if I told you that not every I miss you deserves a reply? That sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is nothing. In this video, we're breaking down why reopening a wound just because she reaches out can cost you more than you think. And why the man who's walked through fire doesn't step back into theft flames just because someone suddenly remembers the warmth. Let's begin. She misses you doesn't mean she wants you back. Number 1. She misses you doesn't mean she wants you back. Sometimes I miss you is just a moment of weakness. It's a late-night impulse, a spark off loneliness mistaken for love. And if you rush in thinking it means everything has changed, you may end up reopening a wound that was finally starting to heal. People don't always miss you. Sometimes they miss the version of themselves they were when you were around. The attention, the comfort, the sense of safety. But missing a feeling is not the same as wanting to rebuild something real. That's the trap. You hear, "I miss you," and your heart skips a beat. But pals, breathe. Respond with clarity, not craving. There's a difference between missing someone and being ready to value them. Maybe she misses the warmth of your presence, but still isn't willing to match your depth. Maybe she misses the sound of your voice, but not the effort it takes to keep you. That's why silence is powerful. It gives you space to see whether her words are just techos or if her actions actually align. Let's say she reaches out with a simple text. "I've been thinking about you." It might stir up old feelings, but what comes next? Does she ask how you've been, or just test the waters? Does she tack a responsibility, or just reminisce? It's all nostalgia. And no accountability. You already know the answer. Marcus Aurelius once said, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." That applies here too. If her words are not grounded in truth, don't build your hopes on them. Remember, healing is a process. And sometimes the hardest part isn't letting go. It's resisting the urge to reopen the door just because Semyonek knocked. You're not cold for protecting your peace. You're wise for honoring your progress. She may miss you. That doesn't mean she's ready to show up for you. Don't confuse her regret with a change of heart. Don't give someone access to your soul just because they remembered how warm it felt. You've made it this far for a reason. Don't trade your growth for a glimpse of the past. Stay grounded. Stay calm. Above all, stay true to the man you're becoming. Number 2, don't undo the healing. Don't undo the healing. You've been healing. Slowly, quietly, you've been regaining your center. But a wound that once broke you, it's not worth revisiting. Just because Sumia necessarily remembers your name, you don't owe anyone your peace, especially Nesomion who disrupted it. Look, I know it's tempting. That message that pops up out of nowhere, that familiar name lighting up your screen like a ghost from the past. She says she misses you. She's been thinking about you. And for a moment, your heart stirs. You remember. The laughter, the closeness, the late-night talks that felt like forever. But if you're honest with yourself, you also remember the confusion, the silence, the emotional miss that took everything in you to walk away from. You didn't bleed just to bleed again. You didn't rebuild yourself piece by piece, only to hand the blueprint back to someone who didn't know how to handle your heart the first time. A Stoic man doesn't let nostalgia drag him into self-destruction. He doesn't confuse emotion with direction. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Her missing you, that's a newt side event. Her regret also hers to carry, not yours to resolve. What you'll control is your reaction. And the strongest response sometimes is silence. Imagine reopening a wound that's finally scabbed over just because the person woke ousted. Says, "I didn't mean to cut you that deep." Would you tear the scar open again just to see if they've changed? Or would you protect it like the reminder? It is a symbol of your survival, your discipline, your clarity. You've come too far to walk back into confusion wearing the mask of affection. Missing someone doesn't equal readiness. And love without growth, that's just a repetition of the same cycle. Don't mock yourself smaller to fit back into something that already proved it couldn't hold you. Stay grounded, stay clear, and when your past comes knocking, remember, healing is sacred. Don't trade it for a temporary feeling. You've earned your peace. Don't let anyone, no matter how familiar, steal it back. So before we move on, take a breath and really sit with that. If this massage resonated with you, let it settle deep, not just in your mind, but in your choices moving forward. Your growth deserves to be honored, no handed over. If you've ever felt the pull to return to someone who once left you in pieces, share your thoughts below or simply type 1, protect my peace in the comments as your quiet declaration. And if this helped you, give it a like so more men can find the clarity they need too. Now, let's move forward. Feelings fade. Choices last. Number 3, feelings fade. Choices last. Today she feels something. Tomorrow maybe not. That's how emotion works. It moves like the wind. But your choices, your standards, your boundaries, those define who you are. A Stoic man doesn't let someone's passing feelings rewrite his growth. It's easy to mistake "I miss you" for a door swinging open again. But sometimes, that door only leads back into a room full of pain you've already cleaned yourself out of. Maybe she texts you late at night, says she's been thinking about the good times. Maybe she even cries, says she regrets walking away. And for a brief second, it feels like hope. But here's the truth you need to sit with. Missing someone isn't the same as valuing them. Motion without taction, without change, is just noise. Ask yourself, did she miss you when you were fighting alone to save the connection, when she went cold, distant, or made you feel like an option? Stoic man doesn't just accept someone back because they're feeling emotional. He looks at the pattern, not the moment. He doesn't let a flicker of nostalgia erase months of silence, distance, or disrespect. You've chosen healing. You've chosen peace. That wasn't just survival, it was transformation. Every boundary you set, every moment you sat with the discomfort of silence, instead of chasing her, was a choice rooted in strength. To reverse that now just because she's having a wave of regret would be to dishonor everything you've endured. It's like watering a plant that already withered because someone finally noticed it's dead. You have to ask yourself, is her emotion today strong enough to carry the weight of commitment tomorrow? Or is it just a passing storm looking for shelter? In a familiar place, a place that used to boo. Don't trade your stability for someone else's emotional weather. Let her feel what she feels. That's hers to manage. Your job is to stay rooted, steady, and centered. That's what Stoicism teaches us. To act from principle, not from pressure. To value character over chemistry. And to understand that just because someone reaches for you doesn't mean they're ready. To stand beside you, let your choices last longer than her feelings. Let your growth speak louder than your craving for closure. And most of all, let your peace be the proof that you no longer need chaos to feel loved. Number 4, not all curiosity deserves closure. You might wonder, why now? Has she changed? Is this her finally realizing what she lost? But let's slow down. Curiosity is natural, especially when Sumion from the past resurfaces with a message that tugs at your heart. But just because something is tempting doesn't mean it's healthy. It's the danger. You start replaying old memories, mixing nostalgia with hope. You start imagining a version of her thought might not even exist. And before you know it, you're standing at the edge of a wound that took months to close. It's tempted to tear it open again just to see what's inside. Here's the truth. You don't need to touch fire to remember it burns. You don't need to reopen Pain Town or stand at hurt. You certainly don't need to revisit a chapter just because someone misses how the story used to feel. Let me give you an example. A man spends months working on himself after a breakup. He's calmer, more grounded, more focused. Then out of nowhere, she sends a message. I've been thinking about you lately. It sounds harmless, sweet even, but he knows her pattern. He knows it's not the first time she's circled back during a moment of loneliness or boredom. He risks losing all the emotional progressions made just for a few moments of false comfort. Stoicism teaches. Something powerful here. Closure isn't something someone else gives you. It's something you choose when you stop seeking explanations and start embracing reality as it is. A Stoic man doesn't chase answers that bring no peace. He doesn't expect clarity from those who's brought confusion. So ask yourself this: are you seeking truth, or are you seeking validation? Are you responding because she truly sees your value now, or because part of you wants to believe she finally does? Don't reopen a wound just because someone suddenly remembers what it felt like to have your presence. You've come too far for that. Some chapters end without a satisfying conclusion, and that's okay. Your peace isn't found in what she says. It's found in what you no longer need to hear. Before we move on, take a moment to really sit with this. Reflect on where you are now versus where you were. What do you truly want? Peace or another round of emotional roulette? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Was there a time when curiosity almost pulled you back into something you had outgrown? Share. Story in the comments or simply type "my piece" is not negotiable if this resonated with you. Let's keep going. Number 5. Honor your progress. Honor your progress. Remember who got you here. That version of you who stayed strong through silence, who didn't beg, who didn't break, who kept walking forward even when the weight of what you felt nearly dragged you back. That wasn't just you surviving. That was you evolving, becoming, earning every ounce of inner peace you now carry. Now she misses you. Maybe she says it directly, and maybe it's subtle, liking old pictures, sending a just, checking in message, or casually reminding you of a memory only the two of you shared. And for a moment, you might feel tempted to respond, to reopen that door, to revisit a chapter that nearly broke you. But here's what you must remember. You didn't make it through the storm just to dance in the rain again. Of that dark place to entertain someone else's emotional weather. Sometimes I miss you-y, not a promise. It's a whisper of guilt, a wave of loneliness, a spark of finalgia that means everything in the moment and nothing the next day. Don't betray the man who sat in silence and didn't chase, the man who turned inward and did the hard work, who didn't lash out, who learned to be enough for himself. That man deserves your respect, especially from you. Stoicism teaches you, Master. Our impulse is not to be mastered by them, Epictetus said. If Somione succeeds in provoking you, realize that your mind is complicit in the provocation. The same applies here. If her sudden attention pulls you away from your peace, it's not her fault, it's your choice. And that's the power you have now. You're no longer a slave to emotional highs and lows. You respond from a place of clarity, not craving. You measure her words not by how they make you feel in the moment, but by what they mean in the long run. So, when she says she misses you, ask yourself, does she miss the man you were, or the version of you that tolerated being undervalued? Does she miss who you truly are, or just how you made her feel when it suited her? You didn't survive betrayal, confusion, or silence just to be pulled back into it again. You didn't climb all this way just to hand her the map back to the parts of you she once overlooked. Protect your progress. Honor the road you walked. Respect the man who didn't quit, because that man is the reason you're finally standing tall. And if you're ever unsure, remember true peace doesn't come from getting answers. It comes from living in a way that no longer needs them. Has anything really changed? It's number 6. Has anything really changed? If she misses you now, what's different? Pause with that. Has anything actually changed, or is it just the silence speaking louder than your presence ever did? When someone says they miss you, it's easy to feel flattered, to feel wanted, to believe maybe, just maybe, they've realized what they lost. But a Stoic man doesn't get swept up in emotions. He observes the questions. He separates feeling from fact. So ask yourself, has she taken responsibility? Has she acknowledged the damage? Or is she just reaching out because her ego is uncomfortable with your absence? Too many men confuse emotional impulses with genuine growth. She might feel a wave of nostalgia, loneliness, or regret. But if she hasn't done the work to change the pattern, the pain will return exactly as it left you, quietly, heavily, and without apology. That late-night text, that sudden, "Hey, I've been thinking about you." Is it coming from reflection, or from a temporary emotional low? You're not a placeholder for her boredom. You're not a fix for her bad day. Yet you're definitely not a test run for her emotional confusion. The Stoics teach us in that to be ruled by impressions. Epictetus said, "First say to yourself what you would, Be, and then do what you have to do. If you want to be a man of peace, of strength, of dignity, you must act accordingly. That means not reopening a wound just because someone who caused it suddenly feels its absence. Imagine you spent months healing. From the pain she left you in, you picked yourself up. You built new habits, focused on your goals, found stability again. And now Thatcher finally centered. She sends a message. No apology, no accountability, just a vague emotional breadcrumb. I miss you. The old you might have jumped, might have replied instantly, hoping it meant she was ready to make things right. But the man you are now, the man Woe fought for his peace. He pauses. He looks at the facts and he chooses not Tobe. Moved by words without action, your peace is not a reset button, it's a standard. One that says if you want access to me, bring respect, not confusion, bring growth, not nostalgia. So don't hand over the calm you've earned for a moment that hasn't earned you. Butu, you keep walking forward. That's what a Stoic man does. Quietly, strongly, unapologetically. Number 7, her guilt isn't your job. Her guilt isn't your job. Sometimes she reaches out not to reconnect, but to feel better about herself, to smooth over the past, to clear her conscience and silence the voice in her head that whispers, you. Hurt someone who didn't deserve it, bothers the truth. Her guilt isn't yours to heal. You're not. The emotional sponge gets to ring out when her remorse gets heavy. It's because she feels badisant. You need to pick up the phone. Just because she says, I've been thinking about us, doesn't mean she's thinking of coming back for the right reasons. Often, it's not love that motivates her to speak. It's discomfort. She wants relief, not reconnection. And you, after all the silence, the pain, the rebuilding, you've come too far, Tob, come a stepping stone in someone else's emotional cleanse. Let me be clear. Offering her forgiveness might feel noble, but if doing so means sacrificing your inner balance, it's not Stoicism. It is self-abandonment. A Stoic man allows people to face the natural consequences of their choices. He doesn't rush in to protect others from their own reflection. That's not heartless. It's respectful. You respect yourself enough not to be used as someone's temporary relief. You respect lessons life teaches. You don't interfere with someone else's path, Justo. Make them feel better. Imagine it like this. She set fire to the bridge bed, we knew. And now that the smoke has settled, she's uncomfortable with the ashes. But rebuilding that bridge just so, she can walk across it to apologize without the intention of staying on lie-leads. You back into the fire. You're not her closure. You're not her comfort zone. You're not the bandage for the guilt she earned. She needs to sit with it. She needs to grow from it alone. Because when someone truly values you, they won't just seek to relieve their guilt. They'll show up differently, consistently, clearly, without ambiguity or hidden motives. So, if she appears out of nowhere with sentimental words or tear-stained apologies, ask herself, is this about us or just about her need to feel better? And if the answer leans toward the latter, don't reopen the wound. Stand firm. Choose your peace over her comfort because your healing is sacred. And you didn't walk through all that pain just to become someone's emotional relief station. Stoicism isn't just about staying calm, it's about staying clear. Her guilt isn't your job. Her peace isn't your responsibility, but your own. That's always worth protecting. Number 8. You don't need a final talk. You don't need one last conversation. You don't need to explain yourself again. You've already said enough through your silence, your distance, your growth. Every moment you didn't react, every time you chose peace over drama, every step you took forward without looking back, that was your massage. And it's louder than any final talk could ever be. But here's where money men slip. She reaches out, says she's been thinking about things. Thatch wants just one more talk, and it feels tempting, like maybe this is the closure you've been waiting for. Maybesh finally understands, but be honest with yourself. Has anything actually changed? Or is it just a wave of emotion on her end? Stoicism teaches us to respond, not react. And this is one of those moments. You're not here to feed guilt. You're not here to make someone else feel better about how they treated you. A final talk might feel like a resolution, but often it's just an emotional reset for them, not for you. You'll walk away reopening wounds you worked hard to close, while they walk away feeling lighter, unburdened. That's not closure. That's self-sacrifice. Marcus Aurelius said, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." Sometimes the most truthful thing you can do is say nothing at all, because your silence isn't avoidance. It's clarity, strength. It's your way of saying, I don't need to go back there. I've already learned my lesson. If you don't owe her a final talk, you owe yourself peace. You owe the man who stayed strong during the storm a chance to keep walking forward without being dragged back into confusion. If she truly wanted to maca things, right, she wouldn't need a last talk to do it. Her actions would already have shown you, so don't fall for nostalgia disguised as closure. Some wounds are best left closed. And sometimes your silence is not just a boundary, it's the final word. Number 9. Don't mistake missing for it. Mistake missing for meaning. Meaning she might miss you, but that doesn't mean she values you now. Missing someone is an emotional reaction, often triggered by silence, nostalgia, or avengement, not always by growth or genuine realization. It's easy to say, I miss you, when someone's absence starts to sting, and it takes much more to truly understand and value who you lost and why. That's the difference between missing and meaning. Let's be honest, sometimes people don't miss you. They miss the way you made them feel, the comfort, the validation. The ease off knowing you'd be there no matter how they treated you. They miss the emotional safety net, not the cell connection. They miss the benefit, not the bond. And if you rush back just because they feel something now, you risk stepping right back into the same wound you worked so hard to heal. Epictetus once said, "We are not disturbed by things, but by the views which we take of them." So ask yourself, are you seeing this as it truly is? A rare, you being drawn in by the illusion of sentiment? She might be feeling something, yes, but feelings are fleeting. Has she taken responsibility for the past? She's shown any meaningful change? Or is she just reaching out to soothe her own discomfort? Don't confuse an I miss you text with a renewed commitment. Don't fall for the comfort of old feelings, and the foundation that broke you hasn't been rebuilt. You didn't walk away just to come running the moment she remembers what she lost. You didn't grow just to shrink back into a role that no longer fits who you are. A Stoic man moves forward not to punish or toprove, but because his peace is now his standard, doesn't return for nostalgia. He stays on the path of growth even when the past comes knocking with familiar sweetness. Your value doesn't rise or fall based on whether Samin misses you. It's defined by how you honor yourself even in silence. So, when she says she misses you, hear it, but don't mistake it. It might feel warm, but that warmth can burn if it hasn't. Changed, you don't need to be remembered fondly. You need to be respected fully. That respect begins with the choice to protect your peace over reliving your pain. Reflect on what you've built in your silence, your discipline, your peace. Don't let a few words undo a foundation forged in growth. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Or have you learned to stay grounded even when the past comes calling? Stay unavailable to the past. Number 10. Stay unavailable to the past. You're not the same man she left behind, and that matters more than anything she might say now. While she was out chasing whatever she thought was better, we're doing the hard work, the quiet work, the kind that no one applauds. We're rebuilding from the inside, not to impress her, not to prove anything, but because you finally realized your peace was worth more than being someone's backup plan. You've built yourself in silence, in the discipline. In the uncomfortable nights where you wanted to reach out but didn't. In the mornings where you chose progress over pain, you turned heartbreak into fuel. You turned absence into presence. Your own presence. And now, here she comes. Maybe with a soft message, a nostalgic memory, or a tearful, I miss you. But missing you is not a passport back into your life. Not anymore. Think about it. Where was she when you were crawling through your lowest point? When you were holding yourself together with threads of dignity and discipline? When you chose over games? Don't let a few kind words unravel all of that. Because a Somion missing you doesn't automatically mean they're meant for you. And just because they feel the last no doesn't mean they respect the man you've become. Stoicism reminds us we can control who reaches out, but we can absolutely control who we allow back in. By them, he does and trespan to every tug on his heart. He responds to character, to consistency, to truth. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. And part of being that man is knowing when the doors hold, stay closed." Now is not the time to become soft for someone who only shows up when it's easy. When the storm has passed, when they miss the comfort, but not necessarily the commitment. Don't let her confuse longing with love. One is fleeting, the other is earned. Be the mountain she can't move. Calm, firm, immovable, not the revolving door she walks through in, she's lost or lonely. Let her realize that the man who once waited has stopped. That the version of you who used to explain himself, who used to wonder what if, is gone. And in his place stands a man who respects himself too much to become an option again, staying available to the past, not from bitterness, but from clarity. Because Etha's journey wasn't just about getting over her, it was about becoming the kind of man who never needs to chase what walked away. And that man doesn't just heal, he evolves, he rises, protects what he's built. And most importantly, he doesn't reopen wounds just because a Somione misses the comfort of the man they once took for granted. You've walked through every shadow, sat with conclusion-heavy silence, and turned your pain into presence. That's not something to give up lightly, not for a message, a memory, or a moment of regret. Let her miss you, let her reflect. But you keep walking forward because the man you are now has outgrown the wounds she once created. You don't owe her a return to the past. You owe yourself a future built on clarity, strength, and peace. If this video helped you reclaim some of that power, let it be a reminder. You're another to be someone's emotional safety net. You're here to become the man who doesn't flinch when the past knocks. Now I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below. What part of this message resonated most with you? Or just type, "I protect my peace." To let others know, are walking this path with discipline and dignity. If you found value in this, don't forget to hit the like button. It helps more men find this message when they need it most. Be sure to check out the recommended videos. On screen, they'll guide you even deeper into the mindset of emotional mastery and stoic strength. Until next time, stay grounded, stay focused, and never trade your peace for temporary validation. You've come too far to look back now.